Ferguson.
What's up, everybody? I'm Matt Leinart, 2004 Heisman Trophy winner.
Hey, I'm Zane Gonzalez.
Hi, I'm Matt Barry from ESPN. You're getting ready to watch one of the best college football podcasts ever. It's the Harris Highlight Show.
You're watching the Harris Highlight Show.
And you're watching the Harris Highlight Show.
And you're listening to the Harris Highlight Show. Enjoy it.
Na 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 na.
Coming to you live from the Chateau in beautiful Monrovia, California. This is probably maybe the potential final episode of the Harris Highlight Show for 2021. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves there. Joining us this week is our Ontario Reign broadcaster, Josh Schaefer, our college football expert and analyst, Lyle Goldstein, our executive producer, Brady Klein. I'm your host for the evening, Blake Harris. Brady, are you able to hear or speak out of that?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Did you get to drive an IndyCar today?
Did you win?
No. Many of you know I am a loser in life, so
I did know that.
Yeah.
There you go, boys. It's a jam-packed show this week. Before we get into everything, how's everyone doing on this fine, crisp December 15th evening?
A busy week, Blake. The Ontario Reign have two big games this weekend, and we're getting ready. Big Reign guy myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, college football bowl season is finally here. We've got more. This is officially today the biggest pick'em we have ever had on the Harris Highlight Show, because they added bowl games this year for whatever reason they did. So, and I know the reason, it's a bad reason, but we've got more bowls and more pick'ems today than any other pick'em ever in the history of the show.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yeah, setting records. I mean, are there 5-win teams in bowl games this year, or do you still have to win 6?
You still have to win 6, but I think there might be one, because there was one team that was bowl eligible and they didn't have enough games for them, so they made an extra bowl game for it.
I was going to say the last couple of years, there's definitely been some 5-win teams in bowl games, but hey, here we are.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, yeah, 44 in total, 43 bowl games, and then the national championship makes the 44th. We're going to be talking about every game. Now, unfortunately, for some of the smaller bowls, we can't go too in-depth, but for some of the bigger games, we'll provide our thoughts and what we think is going to happen for the upcoming game. Before we get to that, also, you guys can make your picks along with us, because for the 5th or 6th year in a row, however long we've been doing this, we've created the official Harris Highlights group for Bowl Mania Pick'ems on ESPN. So you guys can click on the link in the description below, or you can go to the ESPN site, go to the Bowl Mania group, search Harris Highlights 21. You guys can find it. You guys can fill out your picks along with us while we're doing them later in the show. You guys can compete to see who gets the top score. I'm going 44 for 44 this year, so unfortunately, it's going to be tough to have some competition there, but you guys can definitely take on Brady, Lyle, Josh, who might be in the 20s or so. You guys can definitely go ahead and take them down. Again, the link's in the description. We'll be getting to that in probably 10 or 15 minutes. But guys, before we get to the bowl pick'ems, also the next 10 minutes or so is also going to be kind of like a Q&A. So if you guys have any college football related questions, ask those in the live comments as well. We are going to be having a show directly in regards to the latest coaching hires, all the coaching moves going on, because we haven't done a show in, I think, 2 weeks. There's been a lot of coaching moves that have happened in the last 2 weeks. There's going to be some more coaching moves that happen in the coming weeks. So we're going to have a future show going over all of the coaching moves. And we're probably going to have a show going over all the transfer moves, because essentially college football is free agency now, where if you're not a starter, you're entering the transfer portal. Or even if you are a starter, like Bo Nix, you're entering the transfer portal. And I know we have a lot to say on all that. So we have some future shows coming in regards to that. So a whole lot of shows coming. But if there's any questions in regards to non-related those things, you guys can ask us those questions. Again, probably 10, 15 minutes going back and forth between some Q&As and our next topic, because I do want to talk about this, guys. The Heisman, obviously every year the Heisman's a big deal. This year, Bryce Young ended up, I think, one of the most lopsided victories that we've seen from a Heisman winner in ever. I think he was like 6th or 7th in regards to most all time. I just want to talk about overall the Heisman voting, where players fell on the final ballots. I know we talked in coming or previous episodes about how we'd rank, our 1 through 4, 1 through 5. For the most part, we got no problem with Bryce Young winning. He was the clear-cut favorite. He was the best option. But I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on pretty much how the rest of the ballot shaped out. I'm getting up the results right now, so that way we have them in front of us, because I was personally shocked. I didn't think that, they were the right order, but that's just my opinion. So here we go. Here are the results. I'll open up the floor to whoever wants to briefly share their initial takeaways from this Heisman rankings this year.
I know people have started to veer away from going the running back route. It does seem like it's a quarterback award at this point. And obviously we had an outlier last year with Devontae winning. And obviously that was a huge deal and he totally deserved it. But also I feel like people have been kind of veering towards quarterbacks. I think it is an absolute crime that Kenneth Walker wasn't more considered for this award this year. Dude got 18 first place votes and he had an unbelievable season. Also, I'm a big Aiden Hutchinson guy, but I think that a lot of people gravitated more toward Aiden Hutchinson as opposed to Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama. Yes, they're two different positions, but both on the defensive side of the ball, both dominating players. And I thought Will Anderson Jr. was really, really good this past year from Alabama. I'm just surprised that there was such a discrepancy between the total points and then the votes between Hutchinson and Will Anderson Jr. So that was a little bit, I thought that was a little bit interesting.
Bryce Young deserved it, and that's first and foremost. You throw for 43 touchdowns and 4 picks, and your team's going to the playoff. Like, yeah, he deserved it, and we've seen it go to quarterbacks almost every year at this point, like Josh talked about. So I don't have any issue with Bryce winning the award. The only two kind of questions I had when seeing the results unveiled was, one, I still don't exactly know how CJ Stroud fell so far in these rankings, considering he was the favorite going into the game against Michigan. And it wasn't, yes, he's the quarterback and the quarterback's the most important position on the field. They lost that game, but CJ Stroud had a good game in that game. Like, he didn't lose his team that game. And as a result from that one outing, he falls basically 3 or 4 spots. So I thought that was a little interesting. And then to add on to what Josh talked about, if anybody was going to compete as a defensive player for the Heisman, it should have been Will Anderson in my mind. I think the fact that he wasn't invited is crazy. I think he was absolutely better than Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, look at what Will Anderson did. The guy had 29 tackles for loss in 13 games playing at the University of Alabama. That's pretty close to the record for a single season. And some of the guys that are in the same vicinity as him played at small schools. They didn't play SEC teams the way Will Anderson was playing, and he absolutely dominated them. Like, he's the best player on that team. I know Bryce Young's the quarterback. Will Anderson's the best player on the University of Alabama's roster, and he wasn't even invited to New York. So I thought that was a little crazy that he didn't even get an invite. And other than that, it was all okay. Those were my two gripes. Was I didn't really understand how Stroud fell so far, and I thought Anderson at the very least should have been invited. If it was up to me, he would have finished second over Hutchinson. But when it all comes down to it, again, Bryce Young deserved it. He led that Bama team, and it's hard to really dispute that he deserved the award.
Anderson handled all of that well, though, too. Yeah. I mean, he literally was like, oh, well, everyone was like, oh, so what do you think about Hutchinson going over you? And he was like, I don't have anything to prove to anybody except for myself. And like, that's the only person's opinion I care about is mine. And I care about doing what I can do to be better. And Aiden had a good year. I don't care. So, I mean, whether he actually feels that way or not, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but the things that he said and the way that he handled it, I thought were really impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I also agree. I think Will Anderson should have definitely been in New York. He definitely should have probably finished second. I think it's just because he went to Alabama. And I think if you're the Heisman voters, a lot of them were torn between Will Anderson and Bryce Young. And obviously, majority of them gave the edge to Bryce Young. But again, a lot of people made the case that Will Anderson was the best player in Alabama, the best player in the nation. And like what Lyle mentioned, I don't know what exactly like the records are for tackles for loss and sacks. I know he's fairly close, and he's doing this in the SEC, where all the previous records were guys, a group of 5 schools. So the season he had was phenomenal. Had he been, at another program, I think that likely would have helped his case. Or if Bryce Young was at a different program, that might have helped his case as well. But having 2 guys from the same school, that's why it's tough. I know last year, Devontae Smith, he won the Heisman. That's because Mac Jones, although he was having a great season, it wasn't kind of like a Joe Burrow type of year or some of these other kind of years where they're so just unbelievable you have to vote for him. In order for us to see a defensive player win the Heisman, it's going to have to, 1, his quarterback's not going to have to be having an amazing season, and 2, the quarterback play is going to have to be a little low. So, yeah, Will Anderson definitely should have been higher. I think Kenneth Walker should have been a little higher. The thing I don't understand, and I mentioned this in our group chat, no offense to Desmond Ridder, maybe these 5 first-place votes were kind of just like honor votes where you've been there for so long, you've committed to this team, you had a fantastic season. Like, I can maybe get behind like CJ Stroud, Kenny Pickett, Matt Corral if you want to vote for them over, Bryce Young, but how can 5 people vote for Desmond Ridder over Bryce Young? Like, I just don't understand that. And Jordan Davis. I get Jordan Davis is probably the most disruptive defensive player in the country, but I don't understand how he gets 9 first-place votes either. I'd rather give him to Aiden Hutchinson or Will Anderson. But then again, it's only 9, doesn't affect it whatsoever. They have too many people that have Heisman votes. I think there's like 850 people. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I sent it in our podcast chat. The San Diego State punter got a 3rd-place vote, officially becoming the first punter to ever receive a Heisman vote in the Heisman's history. I appreciate punters. I love what they do. We wouldn't be where we are without them. But a punter should not be getting a 3rd-place Heisman Trophy vote over some of these other guys, even though he's having a record-breaking season. So these Heisman voters, they get crazy with their voting. And luckily, for the most part, I got no problem with everything else. But definitely some question marks, as we all touched up on. The one question I have every year, and I think I've said this on previous shows, who determines how many players go to New York? Because every year they have a different number of finalists. Some years they have 3, some years they have 4, some years they have 5. And it's not like there was a huge vote difference in CJ Stroud and Will Anderson. So why not just have 5 guys in New York? Like, wouldn't it be better having more finalists? Have you guys noticed that it's like a different number every year in regards to the finalists that are there in New York?
Yeah, it's just, I think it's the total votes, I believe. I'm not totally sure how that works, but yeah, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how it gets determined either, which again feels like they should just have 5 guys there. Like, what's one extra chair going to do, or honoring one extra guy in the hour show? Again,
you think the Heisman committee has that much money to just fly an extra person there, Lyle?
No, you're right. What am I thinking?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah, like Anderson had more sacks than Hutchinson too. It wasn't just the tackles for loss, but
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have had Anderson there if it was.
Question: every year, do they just add on another addition to the Heisman house? Do they just put on another room? They got to just build another room, right? This house has got to have 12 different wings.
Well, I don't think OJ lives there anymore, so I think his room is vacant. So
that's probably true.
All right, so those were the Heisman rankings, guys, or the Heisman results. Overall, no real complaints because the right guy won. What do you guys say we do a few questions before going to our absolutely loaded Bowl Mania pick'ems?
I would love that. A Bowl Mania pick'em more loaded than loaded potatoes.
All right, so again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit us up. We'll be answering your questions for a few minutes before getting to our massive 44 pick'ems. Junior, how do you guys feel if the College Football Playoff Committee expanded to 16 right now? 16.
I've said this in the past. I hate it. I think going from 4 to 16 or anything like that is just such a drastic change. I think if you're going to do if you have plans for an expansion of that size, I think that you should gradually do it. But I've also said this, regardless of how many teams you have in, I'm all for that. I just think that one of the things that makes college football so special is bowl season, especially those big time bowl games that you compete all year to get a chance to play in, with the games with the tie-ins, the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, different things like that. I think those bowl games should be made relevant again. I don't think that they should be semifinal games and have it rotate. I think the best team from the Pac-12 and the Big Ten should be playing in the Rose Bowl, right? And that's me growing up a USC fan, knowing that the Rose Bowl and then the national championship are your goals every single season. And it's the same thing for Big Ten schools. So I don't really care what the college football playoff looks like as long as bowl games, the actual relevant bowl games, are made relevant again. So I'm not saying you need to make the bowl games with the 6 and 6 and 7 and 5 teams super important. I'm totally with people like Lyle on that standpoint where, look, you're not playing in a very high end bowl game. Opt out. You know, you've got your future ahead of you. Relax. Like, you don't need to play in a bowl game that doesn't mean a whole lot. But in turn, make these bowl games relevant again, the very important ones, by switching up the tie-ins, switching up the playoff games, switching up when those games are played. Because again, like, if you're going to add 16 teams, that's just more and more and more football that you're going to keep playing. So what's the point of, so why not make the playoff games first and then have bowl season and then seed people into your bowl games that way? That's the way that I think it should be done. And I know that there's a lot into that, but that's what I would do.
I just want to say real quickly, had we gotten a 16-team playoff right now, obviously, if it was a 16 playoff going in, maybe the committee switches up the rankings just a bit to have some better matchups. But we'd have Alabama versus Oklahoma, Georgia versus Oregon, Pittsburgh versus Notre Dame. Let's see here, Utah versus Ohio State. So we're getting that one anyway. Baylor, Michigan State, Ole Miss, Oklahoma State. Some good matchups there. Some really good matchups, especially, you know, again, low-key Alabama, Oklahoma. That's not an often 1-16 matchup where potentially Bama can go down. I've said this before. I'll do my quick takes. Yeah, save the, you know, prestigious bowl games. Just have it the Chick-fil-A playoff game, the Papa John's playoff game. Have the first or second round at the home stadium, whoever's hosting, and then go from there. But yeah, I'm not a fan of how this year, what the two playoff games are. I think are the Peach Bowl, I think, or Orange Bowl is one, and I think Orange Bowl and Cotton Bowl. I don't like that. I don't like when they do it. The only thing I do like about it, and I know there's tradition for everything, but I do like how, like, a couple years ago for the Rose Bowl, Oklahoma, a team that is never going to be in the Rose Bowl ever, fans that are never going to get to experience it. I like that they get to experience it just because I think it is kind of greedy as Pac-12 and Big Ten fans that we're the only ones that get to experience it. I think it's cool when new teams, like how Utah's in it for the first time this year, all their fans are getting to experience it for the first time. But I think it's only the Rose Bowl. I think all these fans, I don't think, you know, people are going, oh my God, I've never been in the Orange Bowl before. This is so cool. I've never been in the Cotton Bowl. I don't think that's the case. I think it's only for the Rose Bowl, and we're spoiled for that reason. But those are just my initial 2 cents.
Are we moving on, or do you want Brady and I to go in on this too?
If you want to share your thoughts, you can. But if not, we can move on to the next question.
I mean, I'll keep it short. I mean, I know we have differing opinions on this topic on the show. I'm always open to expanded playoffs. Like, you reading off those 1 through 16 matchups, I think would be really fun. I also think if you ask these teams and players if they'd rather, you know, play in a quote unquote New Year's Six game or play in a playoff game where you have an actual chance to win the national championship, they'd probably take the latter. But that's just my 2 cents.
Yes. All right. So we have
I don't care. I mean,
FCS.
What's our opinion going to matter? It's going to happen anyways.
I mean, to be fair, we do have a connection to one of the members of the committee, so our opinion matters.
Like 3 more weeks.
0.%. Yeah, I know. We got time for one final question, guys, and it's actually kind of a perfect one because Salt of the Earth wanted to know, will NIL kill college football? Which then was kind of a perfect transition to Joshua Delton, who comes in with the super chat. So thank you, Joshua. How do you feel about Travis Hunter going to Jackson State, which is shocking news for those of you that don't know? The number 1 recruit flipped from Florida State to Jackson State. I don't know if you guys heard, but he has a nice deal with Barstool lined up for about north of $1 million already.
1.5.
That a 1.5 that his head coach Deion Sanders was able to get for him because Deion Sanders is associated with Barstool. He definitely would have made money at Florida State, but I don't think he would have been making $1.5 million. I know that he had the entire post about how, you know, he wants to go to an HBCU, which I get. He definitely does. Playing for Deion Sanders is a huge thing, but let's not lie. And getting $1.5 million to go to Jackson State, that played a large part of him, making the flip. So, what do you guys feel about this, to answer Josh's question? But then again, going to that previous question, will NIL, I don't think it's going to kill college football, but I think, to rephrase the question, it definitely is going to have an impact on the recruiting process. We've seen it have an impact on the transfer process, like what Quinn Ewers did, but in the recruiting process, I think it's going to play a large impact that we've already seen.
Yeah. So my only thing is the recruiting. If it's, I don't know. First and foremost, I'm all for the NLI and players being able to market themselves, because again, as Lyle pointed out, like last year when this first came out, we all did a radio show at Arizona State that had a sponsor, and nobody said a word. But if we were all athletes, we would have gotten in trouble. Our schools would have gotten in trouble. Like, we could have been on whichever sports team. We could have been on a day one cornhole team, and we would have gotten the school in trouble. And like, that's so dumb. Like, that's not how that should work.
Right.
And that's how it works. So up until now, I'm fine with these guys doing whatever. I think the money that's involved is crazy. Not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. I do think it's crazy. It is a lot more than I initially expected we'd see. I just hope it doesn't really mess up recruiting to a huge extent. Like, for example, like Oregon's always had that Nike pitch. USC now has the Hollywood pitch, and all these guys can market themselves, just for an example, right? And I think that's fine. But if the money becomes involved, my only thing is maybe some of the smaller schools that don't have that big of a draw aren't going to be able to recruit as well as some others. I think that's already an advantage that other schools have. It's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. That's just off the top of my head, my 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly good that these athletes are making money now, because building off of what Josh was saying, there's other types of scholarships that you can get to go to school. Like, again, there's music scholarships and theater scholarships and a million types of scholarships, and nobody tells those kids that they can't make money. I don't know what the significance of athletes was for so long that they weren't allowed to profit off their own name. So that part's great. Honestly, I don't see it as a bad thing with the money. And look, the data size, or the data sample, is too small at this point to know really what the impact is of NIL playing a factor into recruiting. We're going to have to see it for a few years before we can really know. But after seeing this Travis Hunter thing today, and look, that's an extreme, right? Like Jackson State, like, I don't know if we'll ever see that again with the #1 recruit going to a school like that. Maybe, again, this might become more of a normality if NIL plays that much of a factor and the schools can fork up the money. But honestly, if anything with the recruiting, I honestly wonder if it's going to balance things out. And instead of everybody going to 5 or 6 schools, that some of these other schools that once upon a time didn't have the pitch that Alabama has or Oklahoma has or USC has, et cetera. Now I wonder if they can kind of build their recruiting off NIL and pull away more of these big recruits, because that might balance college football out a little bit. And that's been our biggest problem for the last few years, is college football isn't balanced. So I honestly wonder if NIL can really kind of change the narrative of the sport in a good way and balance things out. That's how I see it. I hope that's the case. But no, I don't have a problem with NIL, and I don't think it's going to kill college football.
I was talking about this with someone at work today, and it was, what happens if it comes out and they find out, all right, Barstool paid him to go to Jackson State, right? That sort of takes away from the NIL initiative. It's, not what they put it in place to do. But we're also not even one whole year into the NIL world, so to call it. So what happens to Travis Hunter? What happens to Barstool? What happens to Penn Gaming? What happens to Deion Sanders? I don't think anything.
Right.
I think it'll be more of like a slap on the wrist and say, hey, this is now a new rule, i.e. Kenny Pickett fake sliding. Boom, a week later, new rule in football, it plays blown dead. Things will change and evolve quickly. I think it's awesome what Travis Hunter is doing. If he truly believes he wanted to go to an HBCU, awesome, good for him. But what does it do to the integrity of college football? I think we will start to see guys not be able to accept NIL deals until they step on campus and are there and can't do it before. And there's going to be some reworkings of it because it is so new. I love him going to Jackson State. I think it's cool, but the first 5-star recruit ever to go to an FCS school. So I think it's or to commit originally to an FCS school. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think him going to an HBCU is awesome. Like, it's great. It's just it kind of takes a little bit out of it, knowing that he's getting paid $1.5 million to do it. It would have been awesome if he just did this decision on his own, no money based. I mean, we've seen this already. Quinn Ewers, he finessed the system because when he was leaving high school, you couldn't make money yet in Texas. So he said, I'm going to leave a year early, go to Ohio State, make $1.5 million, not play at all. Then when I was originally going to commit, I'm going to transfer to Texas where I can make money now there anyway. So it'll be interesting to see. When I heard about this, I was thinking players might be getting like $50,000 max. Maybe the top players are going to be getting like $100,000. I wasn't expecting anything like $1.5 million for players that haven't even proven anything. I mean, if Travis Hunter's getting $1.5 million, Bryce Young should be getting like $4 to $5 million next year, if we're being honest. So it'll be interesting to see how high these prices get and what these players are able to get. So are you guys ready to begin the fun with an absolute madness 44 pick game bowl mania madness?
Madness? Yeah.
All right, so let's get this underway. All right, guys, again, if you guys want, you guys can make your picks along with us. The link to join our official Harris Highlights 2021 group is in the description below. And you guys can compete against all of us with a bunch of fans, so you guys can sign up. I think you're allowed 3 entries per group. So if you guys, we prefer 1 entry, but if you just want to make 3 different entries to give yourself a little better chance to win, we're not going to hold it to you. You guys can make 3 separate entries. Guys, before we get to that, though, it's time to unveil our 2021 Pick'em results. As you guys know, we do separate ones. We do a bowl one and a regular season one. And, well, Josh, you came up just short, buddy. You came up just short. Lyle, you're not in last place. You were in last place majority of the season. You stuck it out at the end. Brady finishes in last. I beat Josh
this the closest it's ever been?
I think so. Because there's been years where it's like the difference between first and last has been like 10 to 15. But I mean, this one was literally anyone's until the final weekend. And there you go. So I beat Josh by one game.
I think it's rigged, and I'm going to tell everyone who will listen for the next year that I actually won.
There you go. You're more than welcome to do that.
I can't prove it, but I'm going to tell everyone.
You're more than welcome to do that. All right, guys, let's kick things underway now. Again, you guys can follow along in the description. Join the group, and let's kick things underway. We got the Bahamas Bowl featuring Middle Tennessee and Toledo.
All right, put 10 minutes on the clock. Let's talk about this one. I am... Did you guys see Brady's face for like half a second right there?
If we're not done in 26 minutes, I'm walking off.
I've got Toledo. I'm way into Rockets. So yeah, big Jet guy.
Yeah, I'm taking Toledo.
Guys, the Bahamas Bowl is the longest running international bowl game in college football history, going on its 7th year. I'm going to go with Middle Tennessee. Shake things up a bit. Guys, we got the Tail Greeter Cure Bowl featuring Northern Illinois and Coastal Carolina.
Don't even know where this one is, but I'm going to go with the Chants. I think 2 really impressive years here from Coastal. They've earned my pick, along with 83% of the people picking on ESPN.
I agree. Coastal.
I also agree. Coastal.
Josh, to answer your question, this game's in Orlando.
Oh, cool.
And the best thing about the Cure Bowl is it's just raising a bunch of money to fight cancer. Everything about this game is pink, which we love. I'm going to go with Coastal Carolina. I'm going to go with the Chants. We got the and this one breaks my heart, Josh. This one breaks my heart. We're not going to say the sponsor of this bowl game, Josh. We're going to go based on what it was in 2019. So, Josh, I'll let you introduce this next bowl game.
Formerly known as the Cheribundi Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl, between Western Kentucky and App State. Here's my first flip of the script for you this year, baby. I'm going with my coach, Coach Tyson Helton, and I'm taking Western Kentucky, baby.
State, Appalachian State.
App State.
Yeah, I'm actually, though, guys, going to go with Western Kentucky in this one. I don't know if you guys know this. Their quarterback, Bailey Zappi, is currently about 300 yards away from setting the all-time single-season passing yards record, and he's 5 touchdowns away from setting the single-season passing touchdown record that Joe Burrow set a few years ago. He's easily going to set the passing yards one. He likely is going to get this one. So we're going to see an FBS quarterback breaking both of those records in the same season. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Bailey Zappi. Somehow flying so under the radar. Wasn't even top 10 in Heisman voting after throwing for 5,500 yards and like 56 touchdown passes. Also, guys, my fun fact for the Boca Raton Bowl, and it says this on its website, it's 1.6 miles away from the beach.
Wow.
We got the Cricket Celebration Bowl featuring South Carolina State and the aforementioned Jackson State that we were talking about a few minutes ago.
Well, I don't know how many crickets are going to be there, but if there's going to be a lot, I bet the chirping will be very loud. I am going to be just like Travis Hunter, and I'm taking Jackson State.
Yeah, look at Deion Sanders just putting in work here at Jackson State. Those guys were 11-1 this year. You know what? I'm going to say they're going to be 12-1 because I've got Jackson State.
There's a petition going around to fire Mike Norvell and bring in Deion Sanders as the next head coach of Florida State. Who knows? Who knows? Anyways, shout out to my guy, Darius Leonard, South Carolina State, but Jackson State. Easy.
Yeah. Got to go with Jackson State. Got it. Also, watch this game, guys, because the halftime band performance is lit. It's
yeah.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
About the band.
Yeah, of course. We've got the PUBG.
PUBG.
Oh, PUBG?
All
right, we got PUBG,
yeah.
the Mobile New Mexico Bowl featuring UTEP and Fresno State.
Woof, woof. I've got the dogs.
After some careful thought, I will take Fresno State.
Wow, Lyle going with a school with a dog mascot. I'm also going Fresno State.
Guys, the New Mexico Bowl trophy is one of the most unique in all of college sports. It is a Native American clay pot that is handcrafted into a 20-inch bowl-shaped pottery that features a bunch of cool, awesome things.
Wow.
There you go. I should have gotten a picture for it. I'm going to go with Fresno State in this one. Guys, we got the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl featuring UAB and a top 12 team in the country in BYU. Imagine that. You finished the season ranked 12 in the playoff rankings, and you're going to the Independence Bowl.
Well, it's the Blazers versus people who don't blaze. I am taking BYU.
I'm going to go with BYU as well.
At one point, we were kicked out of Blaze, so I'm staying away from the Blazers, so I'm going with BYU.
Guys, the Independence Bowl was established in 1976, and it received its name because it was on the 200th birthday of our independence.
Yay, America.
Yay,
I gotta
America.
say, I'll never forget now that UAB is the Blazers, because back when we were at school, when you type in Blaze Radio online, UAB would always pop up on my phone when you started to type it in, and the dragon mascot came up. So every day for like 4 years, I was like, yep, there's the Blazers again. So there's one weird mascot that's just pinned into my head.
They also didn't have a football team for like a 3-year span. I forget what, I think it was like 2014 through 2016, something like that. I got to go with my Storm and Mormons. I mean, they're ranked number 12. Come on now. We got the Lending Tree Bowl featuring Eastern Michigan and Liberty.
I'm going to take Eastern Michigan. Not only did I just start an NCAA 14 dynasty with Eastern Michigan, but they're also the fighting Jimmy Poplinskis, so I'm going with the Eags.
I'll go with Malik Willis and Liberty.
I'm going with Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Malik Willis and Liberty. Hopefully he plays in the bowl game. We'll have to wait and see. Guys, this next bowl game is a real bowl game. Somehow, some way. The Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, presented by Stifel. Utah State against Oregon State.
I'm back in the pack all the way. I'm going with Chance Nolan and company to upset the Ags. I've got the Beavs.
Just imagine what these two teams are thinking. You've got Utah State out in Logan, Utah all year, and you've got Oregon State playing all their games at Reser. Oregon State has an okay year. They go 7-5, and you know what your reward is? You get to go play at SoFi Stadium.
Yeah.
They're going to walk into that place and think it's like the Death Star or something, even though
The
that's
capacity is
located
like a larger population size than both of those cities combined.
Probably.
I bet.
Like, I can't even imagine going from Reeser to SoFi Stadium. That's like got to be going from like your $5 golf course to Augusta or something like that. But I'm gonna take Oregon State in this one.
I'm going Utah State.
Yeah, I'm going Utah State as well. They've been low-key really good this year after a pretty down year last season. But yeah, is Jimmy Kimmel like gonna do like the pregame intros or something? Like, how much Jimmy Kimmel are we gonna get at this game? Like all of it? All the Jimmy Kimmel?
I hope that the coin toss has to be what's his name?
Guillermo.
It has to be.
They should have it. Whoever the MVP is, they get to come on Kimmel. Like that should be like your reward.
Oh yeah, MVP.
That'd be sick.
The R plus L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, Louisiana against Marshall.
I could be wrong, but I feel like Louisiana's in this game every single year. And
it's
also,
usually a Louisiana school of some sort.
Yeah. I used to be all in on Marshall. You guys remember that? Yeah, not even close this time. I've got the Cajuns.
Well, you're out on Grant Wells.
I'm all out on Grant Wells. Ever since he beat Bo Nix 70 to whatever in NCAA 14 at Blake's apartment, he has not performed up to my standards. So I've got Louisiana.
I've got Louisiana too.
I also have Louisiana.
I got Louisiana as well. They're a really good team. Also, guys, if you haven't done so yet, you guys can click on the link in the description. You guys can sign up for our official Bowl Mania group. Fill out your picks with us. Compete against us. Compete against other fans. It's free, so you might as well. Guys, we got the Myrtle Beach Bowl presented by Tax Act. Old Dominion against Tulsa.
Oh, God. This game. I guess Tulsa. I don't know. I don't really care about this one, guys.
I'll go with Old Dominion.
Give me Tulsa.
Guys, this is the first year of the Myrtle Beach Bowl, and it is officially the first bowl game to take place in the state of South Carolina. Also,
it's presented by Tax Act.
This is where the Chanticleers play, so they're going to have the nice teal field for this game.
Presented by Tax Act seems like one of those things that King George III put on the colonies.
the Tax Act.
So then do we have to pick the Monarchs of Old Dominion?
Oh, no, you go against the Monarchs.
I'm going with the Monarchs, though.
No, against the monarchy.
Well, I'm doing it. Got the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Kent State, and Wyoming.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm going Kent, and we'll listen to the radio broadcast.
Yeah, Kent State. I'll take Kent State.
Yeah, go Kent State. Josh, you said listen to the video broadcast. Hey, shout out to my girl, Kristen Eckel. None of you know who that is, but she's a softball player at Kent State. So
shout out to her.
You
yeah, shout out to you, Eckel. Good stuff. Kent State.
I'm gonna go with Wyoming in this one, just because you got to do it, guys. The Idaho Bowl or the Potato Bowl. I feel like it's always been the Potato Bowl, but it only became the Potato Bowl in 2011. It was originally named the Humanitarian Bowl.
Oh,
the more you know.
Yeah,
the more you know. We got the Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl featuring UTSA and San Diego State.
Holy bowl game, guys. 12-1 UTSA versus 11-2 and 24th ranked San Diego State. It's going to be a great game. I'm all in on the runners. The Road Runners have been really good this year, not the Tucson kind. But who would I be to pick against my Aztec? So I've got San Diego State.
Okay, so this game is not at Jerry World. It's would you know where this is, BK? Toyota Stadium?
Yeah.
That's where
it's
where FC Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Huh. It's nice looking.
Yeah.
It's where they had the FCS championship last year.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, it is a good game for a relatively small bowl game. I'll take San Diego State.
I was an advocate all year of rank UTSA, and the fact that they're 12-1 and not ranked, and SDSU is 11-2 and ranked irks me. So I'm going to go UTSA.
I'm going to go UTSA as well. And yeah, this is probably like the best random bowl game because you're having two really good borderline top 25 teams. So I'm going to go with UTSA in this one. Guys, we got the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, Missouri and Army.
I think this is actually going to be a good game. I think it'll be a close game, and this was a tough one for me to pick, but I'm going to roll with the Black Knights.
I'll take Missouri.
Give me Army.
I'll take Army. I don't know why, but Missouri, I feel like they screwed me earlier in the season. Now, guys, this is interesting because we just had the Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl, and we now have the Frisco Football Classic, which I think is 1 or 2 days later. So Frisco, for some reason, Brady, you were in Frisco. Maybe you can back up the beautiful city that is Frisco, but they get 2 bowl games in 2 or 3 days. This one's the Football Classic between North Texas and Miami of Ohio.
So it's in Texas. Let me tell you this. The North Texas fans are going to show up. They'll show out. They'll be in Frisco. They'll be fighting. And also they're mean. They're green. I'm going with Unt all the way.
I think Frisco's supposed to be relatively nice. I guess Brady would know better than the rest of us, but it's basically
actually
Dallas.
really nice.
So, what's up?
Except for that fire that you guys had.
Yeah, it was cool.
That building catch on fire?
It's Kadoosh.
I'm glad you're
Yeah.
okay, though.
I was going to say it's basically Dallas, so I figured it would be a nice area. But for
It's a
this
very
game,
nice
I'll
suburb
go
of
North
Dallas.
Texas. What's up?
It's a very nice suburb of Dallas.
Yeah,
Kind of like Kirkland or Carmel, I would say.
fair.
Ooh.
I'll go.
It's very
Yeah,
nice.
What about
I'll go North
Eastvale?
Texas.
Sure. Shout out to Jalen Walker, wide receiver from Miami of Ohio, and Caleb Schaefer, the starting right guard for Miami of Ohio.
How many
Mason
Fs?
had to go up against their, I think 2 Fs.
Is there
Mason
an
had
E?
to go up against him. No,
there
Mason,
a C?
my younger brother, went up. Dude, I want to be done with the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brady's the one telling us to hurry up, and we're spending the most time on the Frisco Football Classic.
I don't know. I was thinking about picking the Central University of North Texas, but I'm going to go with Miami of Ohio.
I'm taking North Texas because Oregon stole their helmet design, and no one seemed to really notice. So I'm going to go with North Texas. Guys, we got the this is another one that pains me because it used to be the Bad Boy Mowers, and now it's just the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl, which
Lame.
if you're going to have a sponsor, have at least a good sponsor. The Union Home Mortgage, like, come on. But this is a great one. It's sold out in a couple days. UCF in Florida.
This should be a good one. I was not impressed with Florida at all this year, but I think I'm going to pick them in this game.
Yeah, this game feels like a toss-up to me. I'll go with Florida. Close one.
I agree. I'm going to go with UCF in this one. I think.
Would you guys
I
like
nice.
to know why it's called the Gasparilla Bowl?
Why?
Because the Gasparilla is a
named
state flower.
After the honor of legend Pirate Joe Gasper, Ye Mystic Crew of Gasparilla was founded in 1904. So there you go.
Whoa.
Yo ho, yo ho. I'm going to go with Florida in this one. UCF doesn't have Dylan Gabriel. He's in the transfer portal. Gators should win, but who knows? The Easy Post Hawaii Bowl, featuring Memphis and Hawaii at the nice 1,000-seat mini stadium next to Aloha Stadium.
Yeah, well, shout out to Hawaii that has to travel a whole whopping 0 miles to go to this game, and Memphis has to travel really, really far. I think Memphis shows up, says aloha, they win the game, and they say mahalo, and then they leave.
Listen, I know Hawaii is like the premier travel spot and travel destination for most people who like to travel, but I feel like if you're the University of Hawaii, you'd kind of like to go somewhere else for a bowl game. Yet they're in this game like every year, I swear. But they're not going to take down Memphis. I'm going to take Memphis in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go Memphis. Would you guys rather play in the Hawaii Bowl or the Bahamas Bowl?
Hawaii.
Neither.
Actually,
Well,
the Bahamas, because Hawaii Bowl is always on Christmas Eve. So I'd rather do the Bahamas.
Do you need a
Bowl.
passport if you're going to the Bahamas Bowl? If
I
you're
would assume.
if you're a player going to be on the plane,
I think
you
so.
need a passport.
I think so.
I'd assume. Look, if I was from Hawaii, I'd pick Bahamas so you can travel, but neutral,
There you
I'll go with Hawaii.
go. All right.
I'll take Hawaii in this game. We got the Tax Act Camellia Bowl featuring Georgia State and Ball State on Christmas Day, the lone college football game on Christmas this year.
Well, as everyone knows, Cardinals can't fly on Christmas Day. So it's science. I'm taking Georgia State.
I've got Georgia State.
Chirp, chirp. Give me Ball State because why, Lyle?
Because you got in there in like 24 hours.
Damn right. Yes, I love that. Because why, Lyle?
Oh, and because why not?
Because why not? Ball State.
Yeah, guys, this has taken place in beautiful the Crampton Bowl or the Crampton Bowl. Have you guys ever heard of the Crampton Bowl?
I have not. Is it cramped?
Well, apparently it's been around for about 100 years. So it's a very, very old stadium. I'm going to go with Georgia State. No reason. Quick Lane Bowl, Western Michigan, Nevada.
Pack. Taking the Pack.
I haven't seen anything that Carson Strong isn't going to play in this game. If he is, I'm going to take Nevada.
Jay Norvell, Wolfpack.
Yeah, I know Carson declared, but I don't know if he's playing. I'm going to bet that he's plays. I'm going to take Nevada. The Military Bowl, presented by Peraton, Boston College and East Carolina.
Big Eags guy. Big Eags guy this week. Taking Boston College.
Yeah, I'm going to go Boston College.
Boston College.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Boston College on this one. It seems
Clean
weird.
sweep.
I feel like the Military Bowl, shouldn't that have one of the military schools in it? I don't know why. We got the Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl featuring Houston and Auburn.
I've got Houston in this one, and I'm picking them confidently over Auburn.
I feel like it might stay close just because it's a Power 5 versus a Group of 5 school, but no, I'll still take Houston.
What Josh said, I'm going with Houston.
I was going to roll with Auburn, but with Bo Nix in the transfer portal, I don't know if they can get it done. I'm going to go with Houston. Again, guys, join our Pick'ems group in the description. Make picks with us, live with us. Outscore Brady. That way you can brag to him and make him feel dumb for all of his stupid
you know
picks.
me.
Dumb. We got the Surf Pro First Responder Bowl featuring Air Force and Louisville.
Shout out to first responders, guys. Air Force always gets slept on when it comes to those military schools, and they quietly had a really impressive year. So I'm going to take Air Force in this game. Falcons over Cardinals.
I'll take Louisville.
Give me Air Force.
I'll go Louisville, just because I feel like it. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Mississippi State, and Texas Tech. The Mike Leach Bowl.
That's a good point. It is the Mike Leach Bowl. I'm going to take Mississippi State.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Mississippi.
Yeah, I'm going Mississippi State too.
I'll go Mississippi State. They're playing some really good ball near the end. Guys, the Liberty Bowl is actually the 7th oldest college bowl game. The first 5 years of its existence, it was played in Philadelphia. But ever since 1965, it's been held in Memphis. Why did it move? I don't know.
I don't know.
Here, guys, here's a fun one. Here's a mouthful. You got the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl at Petco Park. UCLA and NC State.
Well, guys, it's a good thing that this game is being played at Petco Park, because if it was still being played at what was formerly known as Qualcomm and which was renamed to a different name, it would have been the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl at San Diego County Credit Union Stadium. Also, this is on the 28th. The Reign play in San Diego the 27th. So I was hoping this was going to be ASU. So you do the Goals Reign game on the 27th, go to the Holiday Bowl the next day and root on the Devils. And that's not the case. And so for that reason, I'm out. I've got NC State.
Look, as a great singing group once said, San Diego loves the Wolfpack. So I'm going to take North Carolina State.
I'm going to go NC State.
I'm going to go NC State as well. It'll be interesting to see what kind of crowd this is for the Wolfpack and Bruins. It'll be interesting to see what it looks like in Petco Park. I think there's now like 3 or 4. I think there's 4 MLB stadiums that are hosting bowl games this year. We got the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. Speaking of baseball stadiums, West Virginia and Minnesota.
Minnesota, I don't know. Some people were expecting a lot from them this year, and they were 8-4. They were obviously slept on in the Big Ten, rightfully so, I think, because there were other teams that were getting a lot more hype this year. Also, I had a soda today for the first time in a while, so I'm taking Minnesota.
On these bowl pick'ems, these baseball stadium games are just 4 straight since this game's at Chase Field. But yeah, I'm gonna take Minnesota too.
Yeah, I'm going with the Gophers.
Yeah, for those of you confused what this one is, this is formerly the Cheez-It Bowl, also formerly the Cactus Bowl in Arizona. Bring it back to Sun Devil Stadium. No one likes seeing games in baseball parks. I'm going to go West Virginia in honor of 4-time Pro Bowler Ron Wolfley. We got the Wasabi Fenway Bowl, SMU in Virginia.
Interesting one.
It's a fun word to say, guys.
Wasabi? Yeah. Wasabi. I've got SMU.
I'm going to take Virginia.
I'm going SMU. Mustangs.
Josh, I don't know if you meant this in our private chat, but I read that in the Matthew Berry giraffe voice. Quick, make your pick.
He did.
I did.
He did.
I'm going to go with Virginia. They've been playing some really good football. Another football stadium. And guys, this is a fun one because at Fenway and Yankee Stadium, there's going to be games on the same day. This one, the New Era Pinstripe Bowl featuring Maryland and Virginia Tech.
Well, guys, the Pinstripe Bowl is always in the snow, and Maryland has what I believe is their alma mater, and it's called like Maryland, My Maryland, or something like that. And it's basically to the same tune as that like Christmas Tree, Oh Christmas Tree song. And what a great way to get into the holiday season, guys. So I've got Maryland.
I'll go with Virginia Tech in this one.
I'm going to go with Virginia Tech.
I'm going to go with Maryland. I don't know, though. Guys, the Cheez-It Bowl, it's officially back. Clemson and Iowa State. A lot of people thought this might have been a playoff matchup entering the season. Instead, you're getting it in the Cheez-It Bowl.
A Clemson team that finished ranked, but at 19th and 9-3, and was not overly impressive this year. But I'm still taking them over Brock Purdy and Iowa State. Brock Purdy was one of those quarterbacks that had a lot of hype around him this year and didn't totally deliver, and neither did Iowa State. So I'm going to take Clemson. I think they're a deeper team.
This was the Camping World Bowl, wasn't it?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, because, it's at Camping World Stadium, so I figured. I'm going to go with Clemson, too. I know their season got off to a bad start. They did turn it around, and kind of like Josh said, Iowa State was pretty disappointing, so I'm going to take Clemson.
Give me Clemson by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, this one, Iowa State's been disappointing, Clemson's been disappointing. But, guys, in honor, we beg you, hold our beer cheese, presenting his royal cheesiness, Prince Chedward, who is going to be there live all game. I'm going to go with Clemson because they should be the better team.
That was
Chedward. Right, we got the Valero Alamo Bowl featuring Oregon and Oklahoma.
This should be a good game. Believe it or not, neither of these teams have their head coaches with them. How crazy is that? Not at all because money talks, as I tried to tell the Oregon fans that Oregon alums that work in my office that money could bring Cristobal somewhere else. They didn't believe me. Oh, it was a great couple days at the office. I'm going to take Oklahoma, and I hope that they win for their sake because their fans' insecurities have come out within these last couple of days, and they need something to feel good about, guys. I also just think Oklahoma's been a more impressive team, in my opinion, this year, so I'm going to take OU over Oregon. Over UO. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I'm going OU over UO too. God, that Anthony Brown interception he threw in the Pac-12 title was just a disgrace. But yeah, I'm taking Oklahoma. I think their offense really shows out.
Give me the Ducks. I'm going with Oregon.
I'm going to go Oklahoma. Oregon's just a bad team. Guys, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. North Carolina and South Carolina. Well, that's a great matchup.
This is
the game's in Charlotte.
Even better.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool for both teams, but as Peter Griffin once said, oh my God, who the hell cares? But I'll watch because it's interesting, so maybe I care. I'm going to take South Carolina. Scratch that. I'm going to take North Carolina.
I'm going to take North Carolina.
Give me Sam Howell in North Carolina.
I'll take North Carolina, but my question is, will what's his name from Arizona State all those years back be there eating his big tub of mayo?
I hope
Shirtless
so.
Q.
Shirtless Q.
No, I'm
Guys,
guessing not.
I don't know if you heard this, but Duke's Mayo Bowl is going to use an NIL partnership to name a Duke's Mayo Bowl ambassador from the winning team. They're going to get $5,000 to continue to tell the story of Duke's Mayo into the offseason via social media. Long live Duke's Mayo. We got
Wow.
the Trans Perfect Music City Bowl featuring Tennessee and Purdue.
I'm taking Brady's favorite. I've got the Boilermakers.
I'm taking Purdue.
Choo choo, all aboard. Give me Purdue with David Bell, 2 touchdowns.
Brady will never escape his deep love for Purdue. It's down
Yep,
there.
that's
We just got to
right.
find it. I'm going to go with Tennessee because Sean's future brother-in-law is going to have 3 touchdowns this game. The SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, Wisconsin and Arizona State.
I think Graham Mertz comes out and has just a massive game for Scotty. I'm just kidding. I just don't see that happening, guys. ASU is going to be down a bunch of running backs, but with the way that ASU played over the course of their last few games, I feel a little bit better, except for that Oregon State game, obviously. Wish it was in San Diego, but it's not. It's in Vegas. I'm going to take the Sun Devils. I'm going to take the Sun Devils over Scotty.
It'll probably be a low-scoring game just because, I mean, Wisconsin can play a little defense, obviously, but ASU should win this game. I think they have the better athletes, even though they're going to be down White and Trainum at running back. I still think they should be able to move the ball okay, so I'm going to take ASU.
So what? Our starting running back will be Ngata or Boo-hoo?
I
Yeah,
guess so.
and
Yeah, so I'm going to go with ASU.
I'm going to go with ASU. Apparently, Chip
Be
Trainum
down
actually
one more
might-
time, Sun Devils.
Chip Trainum might actually return to ASU from an article in The Athletic I read, so he actually
I
might
hope
be
so.
back. I hate this sponsor, guys. The SRS You're the Vegas Bowl, and you're getting SRS distribution? Please. The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, Wake Forest, and Texas A&M.
I'm taking Wake, guys. I'm sold. Captain Rob, this one's for you.
I'm going to go A&M.
My thing's refreshed, and I now have none of my picks saved.
Oh,
Wonderful.
jeez.
I feel like this happens to Brady every year somehow, where we
Dude,
get
I
to like
don't know.
a
Where are we at?
late point.
Give me A&M.
Give me Wake Forest, Sam Hartman. Also, guys, I don't know if you heard, but Jimbo officially kind of today came out and said, oh, yeah, players have been getting NIL deals for many years. It's just under the radar, and you just don't see anything about it. So even Jimbo knows this stuff's going on. Guys, we got the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, Washington State, and Miami.
Well, Washington State might have a shot in this game. They might have a shot. But I have looked into the crystal ball, and I've seen a Miami victory.
Funny.
Thank you. For both or just the one? Just one.
I'm going to back the pack and take Washington State. I just do not think Miami was very good this year. I'm going to ride with Washington State.
Oh, thank God my app just refreshed. Now I have everything back. I'm going with Washington State because Miami plays in the sun all the time, and Washington State seems like a miserable place to be, and they finally get to see some sun in the Sun Bowl. They're great.
I'll go with Miami, but I'm just looking forward to the end when they dump the big bucket of Frosted Flakes. I couldn't remember the cereal.
Flakes.
Frosted Flakes. Guys, would you rather be dumped with a big thing of Frosted Flakes or Cheez-Its?
Frosted Flakes.
See, I'd go Cheez-Its. I'd go
And
Cheez-Its.
that's why
in
you're
that
the way
one.
that you are.
Yeah, that's
Not
true.
surprised.
Guys, we got the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl featuring Central Michigan and Boise State.
I've got Boise.
Yeah, I'm taking Boise State.
Boise State, the Broncos.
Going really quickly back to the Sun Bowl, guys. The Sun Bowl is the second longest bowl game. It's tied for the second
That it
longest
is.
bowl game. How about that?
How about it?
People coming from Michigan, people coming from Boise to the beautiful city of Tucson, Arizona. Boy, are they in for a treat. They are going to be disappointed and hate themselves. Still can't believe there's a game in Tucson. Give me Boise State. The Tax Act Texas Bowl featuring LSU and Kansas State.
Dude, Tax Act gets 2 games? Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's right.
Golly.
The Tax Act.
I'm gonna take the Tigers. Why not?
Yeah, guys, I really like LSU in this game. I think they're going to go down and get a win.
It's all about
Give me
family.
LSU.
Lyle, you have to do the dance too.
So true.
God.
Give me LSU.
Give me Kansas State in honor of Bill Snyder, even though he's still alive. The Outback Bowl, Penn State, and Arkansas.
Oh man, this is another interesting one. I'm gonna roll with the Hogs. If you guys know one thing about me, I'm a big fan of the Hogs.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Arkansas too.
I don't know. Give me Arkansas.
Give me Penn State. Traylon Burks is out for Arkansas. He's their best offensive weapon. Guys, the Outback Bowl dates back to 1995 since it became the Outback Bowl, the longest tenured sponsored bowl name. Outback.
Wow.
Maybe we'll see the Dancing Bloomin' Onion. The Verbo Citrus Bowl, Iowa and Kentucky.
God. Two places I probably wouldn't like to live at this moment in my life, but I'm going to take Iowa.
I'll go Kentucky.
I'm going with Iowa.
Brady, was that you that just made the little pop noise? I couldn't tell where it came from. I'm going to go with Kentucky. Iowa just is, if you watch them play, they look so bad. They are a bad team. They're so bad. Here we go, boys. We're in the good ones. Only a few left. We got the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl featuring Michigan State and Pittsburgh.
This one's an easy game for me to pick this year. I'm going with Pickett. I've got Pitt. Kenny Pickett changed college football. Literally. Can't fake slide anymore, guys. So I'm gonna take Pitt. I was impressed with him this year. I thought Kenny Pickett was really good, deserved to be in New York. I'm taking the Panthers over Michigan State in the Peach Bowl.
Is he playing? Do we know? I don't think it's been announced, right?
Yeah,
I don't think so, but I would count on him probably playing though.
I would say yes.
I just wonder because it's sounded more and more like he might go in the top 7 or 8 picks. So I just wonder. But if he does at this moment, I will take Pitt as well because I think he's going to light it up against Michigan State.
I really liked watching Kenny Pickett this year, but I'm going to go with Michigan State. Mix it up.
Yeah, it's a tough one based on his availability. I'll say that he plays, so I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. Guys, do you know that from 2006 to 2013, they dropped the Peach Bowl and it was just the Chick-fil-A Bowl?
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid. Deep down in my heart, this is the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, the perfect sponsor that for some reason they had to change. Notre Dame and Oklahoma State.
There was a pretty bad reason why they had to change it. I'm going to take Notre Dame, Lyle. Good for you. Good for you, Lyle. I'm taking Notre Dame.
Good for me what?
Congratulations. I'm taking Notre Dame.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm going to take him too, although this pick wasn't as easy as it would be if Hamilton and Kyron Williams were playing. I mean, Hamilton's been out most of the second half. Kyron Williams said he's not going to play. But I don't know. Oklahoma State, they were okay in that Big 12 title game. I mean, they should have won that game and really kind of choked it at the last or in that fourth quarter. But I think it stays close. I'll say low scoring. Notre Dame wins.
Another congratulations to you, Lyle. Notre Dame.
Congratulations, Lyle.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
This is by far the most boring New Year's Six bowl game out of all of them. Lyle, I don't know how you're feeling. I just don't care about this matchup at all. Like, nothing about this gets me excited. I'll take Notre Dame because they're going to win every game the rest of the time to screw Brian Kelly, but this game looks just boring. We got the Rose Bowl featuring Ohio State and Utah. The Utes are coming out for the first time ever. Last I read was about 65,000 at least are going to be Utah fans because they've just been buying tickets in bulk. But you're not going to be able to tell because it's going to be all red in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I think it starts out as a good game. Obviously I don't really care about Utah, but I'm happy for their fans. I know some people that are going to be there, so good for you guys. Enjoy it. First Rose Bowl appearance. They've only been in the conference 10 years, and they've made it to the Rose Bowl before U of A did, or they have a chance to win before U of A does. I just think Ohio State is significantly better, and I think they pull away. I think this is a 2 or 3 score game, so I'm taking the Buckeyes.
I don't think Ohio State really wants to be there, but talent-wise, they're so much better than Utah. I think Ohio State wins by a couple scores, so I'm going Ohio State.
Yeah, I've got the Buckeyes easy.
It's tough because Ohio State's the much better team. You think they should club them, but again, they're kind of bummed they're not in the playoff. For Utah, this is the biggest game in the history of their program. I'm still going to go with Ohio State, but keep an eye on Utah to make this one a little interesting. We got the All-State Sugar Bowl featuring Ole Miss and Baylor.
I'm riding with Ole Miss. Matt Corral, get on the lane train, baby. Choo-choo. Lane train, rain train. It's all the same. They're all winning games, and they're all fun. So I've got Ole Miss.
Again, Baylor is like inches from not being in a New Year's Six game, considering that Big 12 title game came down to a matter of a yard or two. But yeah, I think if Matt Corral plays, that Ole Miss offense is just too deadly, and they'll take care of Baylor. So I'll go Ole Miss.
Yeah, I'm also rocking with the lane train and Ole Miss.
Yeah, you got to go with the lane train and Ole Miss. You got to. All right, guys, we finally made it. Game 1 of the college football semifinal. I believe it's on New Year's Eve this year.
Yes, sir.
These games are on New Year's Eve. We got the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Number 4 Cincinnati against number 1 Alabama.
Guys, I think this is a really good game, and I'm rooting for Cincinnati through and through. But I think Alabama is the better team, so I'm gonna take Bryce Young, Heisman Trophy winner and company, and I'm taking Bama.
Yeah, I mean, look, Cincinnati's a great story. We've talked about them for the better part of 2 years now, and I hope they can keep it close. I just don't have confidence that they do. I'm going to take Alabama.
I think it's going to be closer than people think, but I'm also going to go with Alabama.
Bama beating Georgia was Cincinnati's worst nightmare. I think the Bearcats could have hung with Georgia just because their offense isn't that good with Stetson Bennett. We saw them almost take him down last year. Guys, I think Bama steamrolls them. I think Bama wins by 3 touchdowns. I think they're just going to show that they're the better team, and poor Cincinnati. Poor old Cincinnati.
Shout out to Cincy's. I was just going to say, shout out to Cincy's Corners. That group is like arguably the best in the country, those two guys. So we'll see how they do against Jamison Williams and the Alabama receivers. But, I mean, that's probably the X factor for them.
Right. We got the Capital One Orange Bowl, number 3 Georgia, number 2 Michigan.
Well, 2 of my takes comes full circle, and they meet up in this playoff game. I've got Georgia, who I said was going to go undefeated and win the national championship. And I also said that they were going to play Alabama twice this year in the playoff. Was going to be the second time. So I could pick them and ride with them, or I could completely turn my first prediction on its head, and that was Michigan going 7-5. So that one was wrong. The other one I still have hope for. I think it's a great game. I think Michigan can win this game. I'm going to take Georgia, and I think Georgia and Bama meet in the college football playoff national championship game.
The 2-3 game is always the best game, and usually it comes down to the wire, except for last year, but that was a good game through like 3 quarters with a lot of offense between Ohio State and Clemson. I think this game's going to be a lot of defense. I think this is also pretty low scoring. I think Georgia wins. I'll say by 10. They pull away at the end.
I think it's going to be pretty close, and I think Georgia wins it.
I like Michigan a lot, guys. I wasn't a believer, but seeing them the last few weeks, they've been playing exceptional football. Their defense is amazing. Their offense is low-key. I think they're averaging the most rushing yards in all college football. They're like the best running team in the nation. It's going to be exciting to see these two defenses go head-to-head. But I like Michigan. I think they pull it off, which then, guys, brings us to the national championship. Who's in your national championship, and what do you think happens in said national championship?
I've got Georgia and Bama. Like I predicted before the season started, they were going to play twice this year, and my prediction was that Georgia goes undefeated and wins the national championship. Obviously, they can no longer go undefeated, but here we are, Bama, Georgia in the national championship. I think these teams are actually pretty evenly matched. To be completely honest with you, despite that one loss, I do think that overall, Georgia might be the better team still. However, for me, this game comes down to who's going to step up and lead your offense down the field. So I'm going to go against my original prediction, And I'm going to take Alabama because I have way more faith in Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Bryce Young than I have in Stetson Bennett. I think that obviously if JT Daniels was the quarterback for Georgia and had been for the whole season or a majority of the season, I'd be very confident in picking Georgia to get some revenge on Alabama. It's hard to beat a team twice. But I think Alabama wins this game and wins yet another national title.
Do we know what the story with that is? Because I think he is healthy. I think he's just the backup at this point, which I think
ride
is
the
kinda
hot
weird.
hand. You don't need to bring him back. You just ride the hot hand.
Well, but
I don't disagree.
Is Stetson Bennett a hot hand?
Yeah, it's just
You're
because their
11-1.
defense. Well, it's because
change
their
it.
defense is exceptional. I think every Georgia fan is actually calling for JT Daniels. And well, see, the problem is Georgia has yet to have a point this season where they've had to consider a quarterback change. Every game, they're just immediately up 14-0, 21-0, and their defense holds it down. As we saw against Alabama, when they're down, Stetson Bennett is not that guy. Like, you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. And I think if they trail again, if they're trailing against Michigan, they might have to make a change because Stetson Bennett's a great quarterback when you're up by 21. When you're down 10, 14, you need someone like JT Daniels that can at least sling it and get some sort of offensive production.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have a Jalen Hurts Tua type change in the middle of the playoff. I'm going to go John Mechie being out makes this a little tougher. George Pickens being back makes this a little tougher. I'm going to go with Georgia. I think they're going to beat Alabama in the national title. Again, it's hard to beat a team twice, and I think Georgia figures them out the second time around, especially with that defense. I'd be shocked if Bama just rolls them like that again. So I'll take Georgia over Bama.
I have Georgia over Bama in Indianapolis.
Indianapolis?
Indianapolis.
I got
Right next to
Alabama
the stadium
versus,
in the stadium that's right next to the White Castle.
of course.
I saw that White Castle. You guys talk about it all the time, and I did see it this summer when we went.
It exists.
I didn't even think anything about it, but you're right. I have seen it.
It's real.
I believe you guys, and I believed you from day one, and I saw it, and you were right.
Guys, I got Alabama versus Michigan. A part of me just kind of wants to take Michigan just because they just seem like the team of destiny this year, but it's Alabama. I mean, it's tough. This is when they get their best. This is when they're the toughest to beat. I know they're going to be without Mechie, but offensively, the weapons they have. Defensively, we've talked about Will Anderson, and they have so many great pieces. I like Alabama, but I think if it's Alabama versus Michigan, it's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be a fantastic matchup. I'm going to go with the Tide in that one, winning the national championship yet again. And guys, that wraps up our 44-game pick'em. Brady, you may go to sleep after a long, hard-fought day. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you guys haven't already, you guys can join the official Harris Highlights Bowl Mania group. Make sure you guys join quickly, though, because all of a sudden the first game is on Friday. I think there's 3 or 4 games on Friday, and then there's like 4 or 5 on Saturday. So they're quickly approaching. You have until Friday morning to figure it out. Get signed up. Again, I think you can do 3 entries per group. So if you want to answer 3 entries, by all means, go for it. Maybe we'll get the winner on a future episode. We'll have to wait and see. Make sure to join, guys. Any parting words before we head out for potentially the year, depending on if we do a show in the coming weeks?
Rain train keeps on rolling, baby. Also, Lincoln Riley, man. How about that? I just
What a tease.
Drinking the tears of Oklahoma fans. Do me a favor, guys. Homework for next show. I want you guys to go do this. I want the fans to go do it too.
I'm
Go
not gonna do it.
to USC's Twitter. Click on any tweet with Lincoln Riley and just scroll through the replies and just read all the Oklahoma fans. If you want to have if you're feeling sad, just go read them. I think it's phenomenal. And more on that when we actually talk about our coaching changes, because I have some takes.
I can't wait to hear them.
They're good. I'll tell you that. They're good.
You're gonna be like Cartman in South Park with that meme of like licking up the tears of sadness, as he says.
Yes, that's it.
Good night, friends.
Bye,
Hey,
Brady.
Lyle. As this person says, bye, Lyle. Boo boo. Good night, my Superman.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Say
Cowboy
goodnight.
Ben
you,
says,
Lyle.
go rain, baby.
Oh yeah,
Rain.
Ben. It's always Always a good time kicking it with you. Always fun kicking it with you, Ben.
Oh, do you actually know who that is?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
There you
why I
go.
said always fun kicking it with you, Ben.
interesting. Well, that wraps up this show again, guys. Join the group. Hit us up on Twitter. Do all that fun stuff. Enjoy all of your bowl games. 44 of them. Miss Brady's about to drop his mic. For Josh Schaefer, Lyle Goldstein, Brady Kling, this has been Blake Harris from the Chateau in beautiful Monrovia, California. You stay classy, San Diego. And we'll see you guys in a future show.
Long live Keaton Slovis.